Well, it's close to 8 o'clock. We'll get started. I'll call the Whately County Redevelopment Commission July 29th, 2025 meeting to order. At this time, we'll do roll call. Teresa Basinger,
Present.
Frank Kessler,
Present.
John Myers,
Present.
Mike Schrader,
Present.
Jill Western, not here, and I'm here. So. Okay, we've got to keep moving on. We've got a big agenda going on, so. Okay, regular business, project updates as needed. Project Freedom.
I'll give a brief update on still the Triangle property. You know, we've gotten the one appraisal, we'll see a claim for it. I didn't, in my, expert opinion, I thought it was a little low, but I talked to him about it, because I'm looking at appraisal to do an option with that property owner. He's gonna want something that he can duplicate somewhere else in the county. And the first appraisal came in more like it's industrial property that fits with ours. And the appraisal, and I'll get a copy of it for everybody, came in around $600,000, which was fine when you consider the number of acres. But there's a house, there's a garage, and then there's an outbuilding. And so when you consider the number of acres and all those properties to duplicate somewhere else in the county, I don't think they can do it for $50,000. The second appraisal I've been waiting on for quite a while. This gentleman it's hard to find certified appraisers to do this kind of stuff. The other guys we've used before, and he's always slow. I've got somebody else I'm gonna reach out to today because this has gone on pretty long.
Would it make any sense to hire a residential appraiser?
So I did talk to, the other appraiser is Zach Myers, spelled correctly.
No relation.
No relation.
As far as I know.
He's got way more E's than I do. And I had told him at the time, I think you need to team up with a residential one as well, because, a lot of these folks are just used to either commercial, industrial, or industrial land. So I did say that the person I'm gonna talk to today, I'm gonna remind them of that. And I had told them this, we're never gonna get an option with this person, and I know we can pay more than the average of the two, but it would be nice if somebody would listen to me when I said, here, they've gotta be able to duplicate this somewhere else. So, it's gone on way too long. I'm trying to keep that moving and light a fire under somebody.
Okay.
I spoke with Dr. Gilliam about the property and what buildings he wanted, and whatnot. They've gone out, they've went through personal property, so they've got some stuff out of the house, the furnishings, all that. Some stuff out of the block garage, and all that they're interested in now is just the barn. None of the other buildings, none of that panned out, so it would just be the barn. He did ask me if we wanted the aluminum for us to recycle, or if we wanted just them to take everything down to stone, basically, I guess, and some of the floor.
I'm not gonna go out and haul aluminum around.
I'd say take it. Let
Okay.
him take it.
Okay.
That way we don't have to hire somebody to come and get it or do it or.
I almost told him that when he asked me, and I said, let me ask, let me make sure. So,
Commission
again,
okay with that? Just let them
Yes.
have it.
none of the other buildings, so if,
Just the barn.
yeah,
Do you know the name of the entity that will be doing this?
we're gonna be,
Like his entity? Well, we asked him, there's a nonprofit involved, I know.
mhm.
When we was here, I said, can we do the deal with the nonprofit? And then you'll work it out with them. So I just need the name of that
Yeah,
nonprofit.
I don't know if it's the society or,
With the County Historical Society.
I believe it's the society, not the museum. Museum's a
Would be-
department of the county,
Right.
so I believe it's the society.
I'll call him again
Okay, just, yeah,
and
just,
just Whitley County Historical Society, unless you hear from me this morning.
okay.
And also, on the document side of things, the property owner, where we might take the road from 600 to the property,
Mhm.
I think he's on vacation, so I haven't heard from him in a while. Whether it's an easement, or we're gonna purchase it, or whatnot. And once I find that out, then we can start drafting something.
Okay.
What was the total acreage on that, Dale?
On the Triangle property?
Yeah.
I wanna say it's like 16 acres or 20, maybe, no, 21 maybe. It's more than you think. There's a lot of woods there.
It's basically woods, though. Most of it.
Most of it. And it's the house and the buildings are on one small lot.
Okay.
Most of the woods and whatnot is a separate lot. And the separate property was a lot easier to appraise.
On the road piece, is he gonna give that to us?
I think if we just make sure his tenants of that building have access.
Right about 24 acres, sorry.
Yeah. I think he might just give it to us.
Okay.
As long, like I said, because we're gonna help the two major tenants out in that building, you know,
Mhm.
should they lose access in 600.
Okay. Nathan, you normally take fee ownership for right-of-way like that?
In this case, it probably makes sense, but we could also just acquire the deed of dedication.
Okay.
Either one would be fine for a road.
Okay.
It may, I mean, since we'll have utilities going through there potentially, well, again, it doesn't matter so much.
Mhm.
So either one.
Okay. I assume he'll wanna, if that's the case, he probably wants to do fee ownership to give, save him on taxes and stuff like that,
Okay.
yeah. We'll do whatever he wants, I guess, if he's gonna donate it.
Yeah.
Okay. Overdeer Park Road design?
Well, in addition to what Dale just mentioned about the right-of-way, Brad's on vacation last week and this week, or this week and next, whatever. He's on vacation right now, so nothing more has gone further with design. It's more contingent upon the right-of-way that we can acquire, then design can follow again, so.
100 South Construction, paving.
I didn't hear from Ryan on anything about the overlay that we had talked about,
Yeah,
but
I
did
didn't
you?
either, and I'm also still waiting. I know Brad wanted a relocation person from SERV, and I'm still waiting to get that contact.
Rogers Market?
I think our lease is up September 1st.
Yeah.
This is the last payment for the Rogers lease. Yeah.
So, and I've not been told who their potential person is,
Good.
which is fine. They don't, I'm not gonna tell them they're losing out on any potential incentives. Sign the lease.
John Marwell?
I spoke, like I told you, I spoke with Lori Juliet Kreider, and she just said that Mike probably wasn't returning my calls because he's been hauling grain, and to check back once harvest time comes around, because they have other people that do the harvest, so he'll have more time then.
US 30.
Nothing new that I know of beyond what we told you.
No, and I
last
do
time.
have got a lot of emails in people, not much updates. So I've asked Jonathan Milk, who's our point person at SEI, because we heard from Tom Easer, their attorney, that there was something signed with them in INDOT. But I don't know what that exactly was and if that included 600. So my question to Jonathan is 700 still to go?
Have you heard any more on Schrader's property? What's going on with that?
No.
It has a pending unfavorable rezoning that's coming to the commissioners on Monday. So they can overturn that and rezone it to IPM as well, but it came with unfavorable, unanimously
Yeah.
unfavorable? Yeah.
Okay.
Somewhat related to US 30, Brent reminded me, we do have a likely pending, a likely rezoning for the property northwest corner of 800 East, which you remember the Strax when they came in a couple months ago. The person who is looking at acquiring the property will want to rezone the entire thing from the commercial and industrial that it is now entirely to commercial in order to do an RV park. This is somewhat confidential, but not, I don't think it's too far out to say it's completely confidential. So in terms of uses, that's probably a relatively optimal one because RV parks tend to need to have visibility but don't necessarily need to have immediate access. Actually being cut off a little bit reduces some of that traffic and noise. So, so this may actually be a relatively good use and a bit more active use than say a mini warehouse place, which was another use that's been proposed in the past. So he was putting together a purchase agreement now that the other purchase agreement that the Strax had has expired. So I don't know whether he will get it and pursue it or not. No one else has contacted us, so I presume he's only at best one of a handful of people even looking. So
So which of the parcels?
it would be these three right here.
Okay.
Yeah. So right now it doesn't have a lot of, campground amenity feeling, but it's very flat and he wants to do a bit of a higher, his current plan is a bit of a higher end park with like a pool and a nice clubhouse and stuff like that, not just a place to go put your pop-up tent or anything. So again, having it be accessible by 30 for a while and then be cut off may be a really good scenario for him. Establish the business and then as 30 gets developed, he's got the clientele who will just continue to come back. So again, as far as uses go, probably a reasonably optimal one here. And then jumping off of the list of projects back to what we talked about, was it last meeting or the meeting before when Kevin Biggs came in? He called me yesterday. Wants to know, is the commission interested at all in working with them? And underwriting somehow, whether it be the infrastructure, some portion of the infrastructure, something, or is he just going to move on to other projects?
And I don't know if I already said this because we had talked about it briefly. I did confirm you can use your existing TIF dollars on this without creating a residential TIF since this is in the older TIF.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would be easiest if we spent them towards
Public improvements, obviously, it has
Yeah.
to still be that, yeah.
Yeah. One creative thought that we might have is rather than a upfront payment, perhaps pay it back per lot sold or lot developed or something like that. Still paying for the infrastructure, but setting up the terms such that it's a reimbursement over time as things are sold, rather than just cash up front. That way we guarantee that houses are being built and sold rather than oh, we have a developed subdivision here that sits and lingers for 10 years, which is a real possibility. So that might, if that helps this move along, this concept, then that adjusting those terms might be a concept. So what do you think? He'd like to have some sort of at least LOI or MOU or something like that before he starts spending too much money on engineering and stuff and actually getting costs involved. So
Does he have a specific ask?
I will tell you, I would like to turn that microphone off. You know, I tried to get him some ready funds from the RDA.
For this?
For this, you know, what I had offered at $500,000, he said wasn't enough. Which I gotta tell you, it seems like this is just putting roads in. You know, we've got other developers, Horizon has done something about the same size, they didn't ask for a penny from anyone.
yeah, the part that I think is perhaps most TIF related in terms of residential is the idea of being workforce housing and trying to have the price points be at a slightly lower level to accommodate people who would be working in the area. That said, our wages in the area are pretty high, so what exactly is workforce housing? But letting it go completely market rate may be still pushing the price point a bit high.
Do we know, has he had any conversations with the city about water and sewer and other infrastructure that he's gonna need?
I don't, but all of that would have been designed going on 30 years ago now as part of the overall. So the designs are not finalized. Things always change between every section, but pretty close to finalized. The conversation that I suggested about, hey, can you do a main off of, what is that, 100 South? That would serve a bigger area. He has not had yet.
Okay.
It's still using just all internal.
And, you know, I mean, building infrastructure so the city can collect fees. I don't know. So we've done that in the past, and I know there's been a little bit of tension there. So I'm certainly not real interested in writing a check for something. If you know, again, if the city needs money to help build stuff and wants to pay us back like they have in other places out there as people hook up, or if he wants to do what I'll call a Joe D'Italia deal where, yeah, you know, we put up money, but once he hits his targets or whatever, we ought to be sharing in the upside. But short, you know, like I said, I'm not particularly interested in just writing a check for $1 million and saying, yeah, good, have fun.
Yeah, that's why I suggested the idea of, for lack of a better term, like a rebate per house or something. That way it's based upon building the houses, not so much the infrastructure. Again, still paying for the infrastructure, but it's different increment.
Right. Well, and that would be an option.
I'm just not sure that this is something that the redevelopment really needs to be involved in, but I've been on a couple projects that kind of got started that way, and then it kind of went south, but I don't know. I'm totally not in favor of it, but I mean, that's up to the commission, whatever the commission wants to do with it. I just don't think that's something redevelopment needs to go out on a limb. And I'm kind of like John, in a way. I think if the city's getting all the revenue, let them put it in.
I agree.
I'm tired of
I
that.
agree. We've done that so many times that I think, I'm not in agreement with it. I think we need to pass by that.
Frank?
Excuse me. I recognize that we need some affordable housing, but I'm not thinking this is the way to do it. I don't like residential TIFs at all, and I realize we can do it through the existing TIF, but I don't, unless he has a specific ask that involves getting infrastructure to the site or existing road improvements or something that already falls within our scope. I'd have to look at that, but otherwise, no.
Teresa?
I would agree with what Frank just said.
Okay.
There you have it.
I'll let him know that, at least for the time being, the answer is not a absolute no. There might be some scenarios like off-site infrastructure, but otherwise anything on-site, that you're a developer for a reason. So.
Yeah, I'm not interested in writing a blue sky check for him to just go out and spend on it
Right.
once. If he has a project and a proposal or whatever, yeah, I'll look at that all day and see,
Yeah.
see what the benefits are to the county and our taxpayers, but to just say, again, hand me one of those big checks for, $500,000 or $1 million, no.
Okay, I'll let him know.
Scott, you have anything on these items that we've gone through that you have a problem with?
No, nothing so far.
Okay.
I mean, if you want my opinion, I can tell you my opinion. Sound like to me was, I can't
like
make the
elbows,
percentage I used to
everybody's
make,
got
so I need you to
something
give me
over
taxpayer dollars. So bad, too sad,
Yeah.
Try to make a profit, just not the percentage you want. I mean, I just don't have that, taxpayer dollars in the next few years are gonna be pretty slim pickings, which is fine, government needs to be realigned. So I don't see there gonna be, we've already seen the downturn on new housing in the county this year. Now, city water sewer, that might be different out there, but it might be tough here the next couple years on payrolls and stuff like that, so I'd be cautious on that. Now, the only thing on Project Freedom is whenever, just like the other project, when the house, you buy the triangle piece and the house gets demoed, you just need to abandon the well and septic.
The well's done.
I mean, on the triangle piece.
Oh, triangle piece,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Already, you need housing out there, so not seeing any issues with any of that, so. I'm all in favor of bringing infrastructure to the county line in all parts of Lily
Hey,
County.
leave that up there, please.
Okay.
While we have the map up, and I guess I'm bringing this up, especially for the commissioner, but also for the redevelopment. Can you go to the Pyrotech building, please?
Yep.
And because it's in the TIF, I've had several people contact me in the last week or so, and they're gonna write a letter opposing. Well, yes, they did not come to the meeting, but,
Ignore that IN right now.
yeah.
It's not finalized.
Okay, so, do you all, did we talk about this in redevelopment? What's gonna happen there, or with the request?
Nathan brought it up about the change in
I couldn't
ownership.
remember.
I don't remember. Just go ahead.
Well, so, the company considering purchasing that building, they have not yet, is to my knowledge, because they're waiting on this specific small rezoning. They want to do some pretty sizable outdoor storage tanks of fuel and oils. weight tanks. And if you'll scroll out a little bit, you know, I was meeting with the property owner of the cul-de-sac lot. So while from the road you may not see it, but that property owner is now thinking about doing something with that. They're gonna be looking at those tanks. You know, I do market the park as a kind of a high-tech medical device park. Greg Stallcat from Sites Medical is gonna write. I'll get you his letter here pretty quick. He's opposed to it. Obviously, at the meeting on behalf of RMP and some others, Brian Emmerich was against it. I don't know what the commission's opinion of it. You know, is it much ado about nothing? But just letting everybody know that it's, you know, there's going to be a fair amount of a couple of large tankers, maybe daily, and then a bunch of smaller tankers going in and out.
Yeah.
From the road, you won't see it, but it'll be there.
Yeah, they are proposing 3 40,000-gallon fuel tanks, one for gas, diesel, and off-road diesel.
So is it just storage for distribution?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The building itself is probably the hard part because that's what's driving what they're looking for. They need space for warehousing of their other products. They do distribution for other oil products, both bulk and smaller. And they were looking for something that large. Because we do have a couple other properties available, like in Gateway, but they're much smaller buildings. Gateway would be a better fit for the tanks, but they don't have the space, the interior space.
And what would it be rezoning or exemption? What would be the zoning ask on it?
The zoning's already gone through the Plan Commission, had a 6-3 favorable recommendation. Fuel storage tanks that are used for distribution require rezoning to IN or heavy industrial, and then a special exception on top of that to further pick apart the details. So they're at the point between Plan Commission and Commissioners right now. It'll be before Commissioners on Monday.
And it's for, if you can see up there on that map, the IN is that 6,000 square foot little rectangle. So they're not rezoning the entire property, they're only rezoning the, yep.
Yeah.
But there were also concerns from neighbors, adjacent property owners regarding the tanks as well.
Any fire issues? Like access or whatever?
Isn't there a ditch or something that runs close to that?
It's up here on the adjacent property.
Yeah, that would be that would be something I'd want to consider.
Yeah, of course, they're required to have containment.
Right.
So. And as far as tanks go, 3 is not very large. The examples they gave had 6 or 8, so this is on the small side for them.
Dale, what influence would that have on your marketing?
I don't know. I mean, it's not. I don't love it, but I don't. At the end of the day, it's also kind of, you know, it is the free market. It's a great building. There's only going to be like 10 people working in it. But I probably not as much as I would make it out to be.
Well, And this is basically like just information for us, right? I mean, it's
Yeah,
not.
right, I'm not asking, I just, FYI. Yeah, I brought it up more to, you know, give the commissioner something to think about.
You're welcome.
The buck stops here.
Okay, any walkthroughs?
I haven't scheduled anything.
Okay.
So,
In a nice air-conditioned building.
Yeah.
An ice cream
Oh, yeah.
distributor.
Well, we'll move on to miscellaneous matters. Anything on that?
I think I covered the two that I had.
Okay, we'll go to claims.
Got three here. I don't think any of them are a surprise.
All right. The first claim is from John Good Valuation, Inc. for, I assume this is for a
It's for the
valuation
rental property.
on the Yellow River Road property. Amounts $1,000.
That's a good deal.
But yeah, these guys are very, I will say this, they turn these around like that and they're dirt cheap. And their report, and I'll get the report, are really thorough.
Second claim is the Rogers Company, August rent, which is the final rental payment that we're responsible for, $12,636. And the third claim is from Whitley County Economic Development Corporation, fee for services of the second quarter, $10,000.
I would move to approve.
Okay, we have a first. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, first and second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All them opposed, let it show that it passed.
Guess I do have one other quick. I know. Well, I mentioned it before the meeting, so.
I have another one too.
Okay. Anybody else? Tiffany and I are finally finishing up the neutralization factors. The state has, what was it, state or Lao has been taking forever to try and figure out what the state did this past session, which was all retroactive to apply to this year's. And one of the biggest ones is the, what is it, deductions on 2% properties. So your farm ground, your leased houses, properties such as that are 2% properties, and now they are eligible for deductions, which we have lots of those properties. So a lot of our net AVs are going down. However, that's also countered by fairly large, again, increases in the gross AVs. So I don't know, have you run any of the factors yet?
I have stuff input, but not the
Okay, so
final numbers.
what I'm thinking right now, just based upon the trending of just the gross AVs, we're looking at a neutralization factor of probably 10 to 14%, which is really, really high, just because of the amount that property values have just gone up, which is the whole point of neutralization. So we're still going through that, still working with the assessor to nail down, is this just because of trending, or is it actually due to some sort of construction? Even if it's a fairly small amount of construction, it's still important to attribute. All of this has to be done by Thursday. 31st is our deadline. So
Good luck with that.
As long as Lao and the state don't make changes, and as long as we don't continue to find, we've found a couple things that Lao didn't know about, so they had to go back and fix things again.
What, our fourth file?
Yeah, we're on, the fourth or fifth round of files, so this year's been, it's always a bit stressful to go through that many parcels, but this year this is just added, so. Okay, what was yours?
I spoke with Lori Hewer, with the school, with the,
Like over dinner on Sunday around the table? Or?
this is actually via email. It was a very,
Wow.
it's kind of weird, actually, to be honest with you. They're working and getting close to having some numbers around for their welding program at the new CTE building and so on and so forth. So, she may be coming forward here sometime in the near future, with a request for their assistance with some of their welding program. So I was just giving you a heads up on that.
Question for Andy. Since this seems to be a relatively regular request, be it
School training? Yeah.
one of the school districts, or it could be Troy or somebody else, rather than treating these as one-off requests, could the commission, if you wanted to, but could we even entertain the idea of doing like a actual program, set up like a grant fund and then have an application for each one of these requests rather than everyone being a special thing, and then it's much more administrative than not?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why you couldn't create an application for the funding through the TIF or training in schools. I mean, I know we did it 2 or 3 times. This would be like third or fourth, right? Yeah. I mean, if the commission wanted to hear them that often, and I guess it'd be more of a marketing thing that, hey, we have this grant program. I mean, if you want to set aside a certain dollar amount, you could do that. It'd be available for training in schools.
Well, what I'm thinking is if we had an application and a formal statement of this is what we expect, it would take a lot of heat and a lot of discussion off, because here's what we expect, what are you proposing? And then that way it's simpler for everybody's sake, less emailing to his sister. And again, marketing would be great. Things like capital projects, I think, would still be special requests, but this would be more programmatic, so.
Well, I think it would, if we reviewed the applications, that'd give us more time to study it and look into it before we just come and make a vote.
Good point.
Bring some consistency as well.
And you could determine what kind of questions were on there of, how many students are gonna be involved, what kind of training is it, how is this gonna benefit the companies in the TIF?
Are you working with a company?
Are you working with a company that is requiring this, that type of stuff, to kind of check the boxes?
Yeah, because that was one thing. Troy School has never asked, at least I don't think they've ever asked the commission for any sort of funding, and they work directly with companies. So that might be a big bonus for them.
Who wants to put that template together?
I brought it up. Andy, do you by chance have anything to start from?
I can.
No, I would probably find a, yeah.
I'll
Okay.
ask my colleagues,
Yeah.
somebody.
I was gonna say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put something together and then bring it to you guys for a future meeting. Because there would be dollars associated, it might be best to start it at the beginning of the year when we have appropriations set aside or spending budget, whatever you want to call it. So
Yeah, when we're gonna have to put this in the budget now that we have to do a budget.
yeah.
Okay,
Well, thank
anything
you.
else on that? Nathan, you got anything else?
I hope not.
Scott,
Don't forget your minutes.
don't have any minutes.
Why do you even have to say that? Right? You're not part of this meeting.
Don't forget your phone.
Yes.
Being that we don't have the minutes, is anybody else have it? Dale, you have anything? Andy?
Nope.
Nothing.
Mike? John? Teresa?
Nope.
Frank?
Nothing additional.
No words of wisdom or anything?
Those are.
Kinda come to
hard for me
expect
come up with.
Nathan? Brent? Nothing?
I've added
Tiffany?
plenty.
I have none, so we're